Okay, hi Dan. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
So,
being here.
first of all, happy 10th anniversary. That's major.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Feels like forever and yesterday at the same time.
So, take me back to way before 10 years ago, to the beginning. What made you want to be an architect? Was there an inciting moment that you knew you wanted to be a designer?
I always was artistic. I enjoyed drawing. I enjoyed building. And I wanted to be an artist. And my father said, "You're not going to make any money as an artist." So he sort of, in like fifth, sixth grade, put me in this direction. I took a couple of drafting courses, loved it. And from then on, like, I don't even work. I really can't. I'm an architect. I couldn't do anything other than this. It's just it like feeds my soul. And I really mean that. I know it sounds cliche, but I'm so lucky to be able to do something creative.
Yeah. And your firm has really, in a short amount of time, cornered the tri-state area luxury residential market.
Yeah. Well,
How do you
that's
think that happened? And then I want you to finish this sentence.
okay.
Clients hire me over my competition because.
Oh, wow. That I've never been asked. So how did I get the market? So I would have to say that it probably starts with um doing all of the little things right, right? So I acknowledge that I'm in a customer service business, and design school kind of teaches you the other. Like, it's like you're a personality and you've got an ego. And I like put that aside very quickly. I had the design chops and I knew when to exercise them and when I shouldn't exercise them. I think that the turning point for me was understanding that this is a part of real estate, what I'm doing. So I would identify opportunities within projects to help not only a person do something better for their life, but also make sense financially for the biggest investment that they're making. The idea of becoming the go-to firm in the tri-state area came out of nowhere. Growing up, I had no business training. I don't have a business degree. It was like word of mouth led to word of mouth through Instagram, and then our following on Instagram just blew up, and that happened overnight as well. So in my area, there aren't too many people that are doing this, which is creative, fun, energetic designs. So to answer your last question, uh, people are coming to me because they're not getting run of the mill. There's no cookie cutter. And I'm in an area that unfortunately it does a lot of that. The easy thing to do in the tri-state area is what the codes will permit you to do, because there's such heavy regulation. I'm constantly going against the code. I'm constantly going against the grain. And people have come to expect that from us. It's not that I would ever want to pull back, but it's like a thing. They come to me and say, "We know that you're the person that has the vision. We were the right one, or we got this property for way cheaper. It's going to be challenging, but we're told that you're the guy to make it happen." So that's been our niche.
There's something to be said about doing the counterintuitive and going actually against what the market's doing. That's really smart. Talk to me more about the relationship between real estate and luxury design. So realtors are seeking out your help for luxury lifestyle and financial planning. What does that mean? And do you see this being the beginning of a larger trend in the industry?
I don't know about trend wise whether or not that's going to be the direction. I think that this is just smart, right? I think that there are two things that people do emotionally that is business related, and that's buying a house and renovating a house. It's all emotion. Any one of us could live in a smaller home that's not as nice, it's not as luxurious, and yada yada yada. I think that aligning the two makes people feel like there's value in the aesthetic, in the luxury. Everything that we do is luxury. Okay. And I mean that in the most wonderful way possible. When we think of luxury, growing up, it was always flashy cars and built-in pools and mansions. But really, just doing something that's better than the norm can be luxurious. So when I say that I'm a luxury architect, I'm saying that about the way that I'm able to enhance a person's lifestyle.
Mhm.
And I worry sometimes when I say luxury, because it's like that equates to expensive, but it doesn't. It really doesn't have to. And I think that when my realtors, and I say like my realtors, when we're working with the client, that's what they're getting. They're looking for that experience. Anyone could just look up what's for sale in Woodcliff Lake and get an idea of what's for sale just by going to his Google search. It's being able to see beyond the page that we're able to provide people with.
So when you work with a realtor, how are you personally defining, how are you deciding what the aesthetic value is?
So I'm actually helping my client determine that. So I often am asked, what would I do? And I always answer, but I start with, well, what I'm going to tell you I would do fits for me. I'd rather get into hearing what you're looking for, right? I would routinely come into houses and people were like, well, we need more space. That's a lot different than saying, well, we need an area for us to get together and watch television without being bothered by the kitchen. Like that space, like we are now starting to take open floor plans and put walls in open floor plans to give those separations. And everyone just always thinks addition, 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 addition. Sometimes I walk into a project and I make it way simpler. And that's not the goal. The goal isn't to make it simpler. The goal is to give clients what they want, but also help them understand what they care about. I say it all the time, but you have control over where the sun is rising and setting in your house. And a lot of people don't think of that. You know, if you really want to wake up and have the sun rise in your bedroom, I know where to put you, and it's got no consequence to the rest of your house. So I start to get people to develop opinions where they didn't think they had one.
Sounds like you're giving them a lot more solutions where they thought there was just one.
100%. 100. We joke sometimes that like, stop asking questions, Dan. Like, but I feel like that's the definition of custom, right? My first meeting, it's like a series of questions, and it's like one of those branch diagrams where if you say yes, I go this way. You say no, I go that way. That's how I'm able to define this for people.
And you're working on and documenting 2 projects right now. Tell me about these 2 projects and what this process is all about that you're documenting.
So the 2 projects are my home and my office. So we are at an incredible time in Plan Architecture's story. For the office, we've basically every 3 years outgrown the office that we're in. And I just thought it would be great to find a parcel that is underutilized, which we did. It's on a major highway in a residential zone that we're going to walk all of our followers and anyone that follows us on social through the process. And the point of that is to instruct. I really enjoy like the behind the scenes vision of any movie. I used to love going to see the behind the scene tours of Disney. It's like being able to see behind the curtain. People enjoy. I also want people to understand how much goes into this. So that's the office, and there's a lot of program and there's a lot of pragmatic things. And then there's the design of the house, which is a vulnerable thing to do. I had the opportunity to do this 7 years ago, and we actually did it because I wasn't getting any new houses. I was continually interviewing and being told you don't have any homes to show, or we can't walk you through anything. So I built the first one as a show house, and that was designed to really design for other people. Try to make something that was super marketable, that I could attract multiple people to like aspects of the house. Now that I've really gotten my design chops, I've created a language of my own. I want to be able to share it with my family, share it with my friends, but also bring something to the area that is not really done very frequently. So I have a little bit more of a worldly view of architecture, and I think it'd be great to have this happening in my backyard, or front yard in this case.
Where in the world are you inspired by?
You know, I hate to say it because it's so cliche, but Frank Lloyd Wright's work, every year that I experience one of his buildings or see something else. I was just at the Met 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they have a whole section that's a Japanese inspired garden. It's a reflection garden. And just being in that space again reminded me of the swooping roofs on my house and the sight lines and the detail. I'm majorly influenced by that. I'm majorly influenced by, we were talking about La Jolla, but Lucan has the Salk Institute in La Jolla. That was an experience for me, being able to understand the relationships of light and shadow and void and an axial orientation with the sunrise or the sunset, rather, in that case. And then Instagram is like a great tool because I'm seeing things that I would have never seen before. I love the publications. I enjoy reading them. I'm that guy that goes home and reads and thinks about architecture. Um, but getting exposed to someone's sketch that has 500 followers with no exposure, there's something to that as well. So it's all around.
You've mentioned Instagram a few times. How, and now you're doing a documentation of your own. How do you think that the media has shaped clients' expectations?
I believe that we've seen a little bit of a transition from the beginning of my career. It was all HGTV. So we would go through and like love it or list it scenarios, and they'd ask us, hey, can you walk us through and say this? And unfortunately, we had to do a lot of re-education. So a person would think that tearing down a wall and redoing their kitchen would be like 15 grand.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really needed to spend a lot of time holding hands in the beginning. Because of social media, people are able to get a more honest, a little less polished idea of what goes into a project. The other thing is that Pinterest is like my best friend and my enemy at the same time, because it makes it so easy to create boards and pin things. But we often find ourselves with clients asking us for like this window and that door with this siding. And, you know, we call it the Pinterest house in our office. And
Pinterest Frankenstein monster.
oh, we try our best to guide. And, you know, most people get it. I think I'm at the point in my career where people are listening, thankfully. And it's happened so quick over the last, like you said, it's been 10 years since I quit my job. The expectation of me, and frankly, we've recently stepped up with a YouTube channel and informational videos that have helped so much, because people are coming in and they're having watched these videos. They're saying like, I don't have to educate, and they're trusting me. And that is the best part of my job. And that's what I can best give somebody. When they're trusting me, I can give them the best project.
Yeah.
So that's a long way of saying that Instagram has given me the opportunity to have people come in and listen and trust me and see that I have work that speaks to the things I'm telling them.
Great answer. Do you have a favorite project or one you have found particularly rewarding?
I'm working on one right now that it's been ongoing for 5 or 6 years through various builders and various architects in the area. And they came to me, and, you know, like within 2 or 3 weeks, we had a buildable plan for them. We've gone through several months of refinements. Not every client, but most of them like to see us see the project from beginning to end. So I started Plan Interiors 5 years ago. We're done with the construction drawings. We're ready to file for building permits, and we're going to start doing like the kitchen, living room, main areas tonight. I've got a lot riding on that project because it is under a lot of eyes. We call it the Molokia. Have you ever heard of this?
No, tell
Like
me
the
more.
evil eye.
Oh, yes. Okay.
There's a lot of people that probably don't want to see anything nice happen there.
Huh.
And I have to tell you that I've actually heard that. Like I've heard builders that are disenchanted by the fact that we're proceeding.
They're wishing
And
failure upon you. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, which I don't get that method of thinking at all, but we're moving forward, and I can't wait to see that, because it's got every feature, right? They trusted me. We're doing an all brick home, which we don't get to see very much of here. We're doing large windows, so it's a perfect blend of traditional and modern. And I'd love for that to be the footing for future work, that design style.
And okay, great segue. Is there a dream project that you would love to have realized?
I have to say I'm very lucky, but I'm doing it with my house. There are moments where it's overwhelming, but being able to do what I do with strangers that become friends, I'm doing it with my wife and my kids and my family. And that's a very rewarding process. Like down to my daughter, her only request was a fireplace in her bedroom, which is bizarre, but we're going to do it. It's an easy hang. My son, he wants like a play treehouse loft in his room. So we have like this ladder going into an attic space. I love it. And it's rewarding. And It's going to help me fulfill parts of the business, which is a major part of what I do. The more I start to do what I do, I'd really love to get a community. I'd love to design. We've done many homes up in Saratoga, New York, very similar to this, where we have a developer that buys a large parcel of land, subdivides, and we design each house. I'd love to create like a little community, like, maybe 40 to 50 houses where we get to design each individual house, and each one tells a little bit of a different story, and get to plan it and maybe do some parks and entertainment spaces. That would be my dream. I think that it's really important that architects and interior designers, I don't know if you see this in the people that you talk to, but there's this frustration between the two professions, like almost as if architects say that designers are not functional or don't know how to put things together, and interior designers say that architects are too engineering based. And I think that what we've done here at Plan Architecture is we've synthesized those both of those worlds into an architecture that is inspired by interior design and high design, and interiors that are heavily influenced by good architecture. And I would just love for people to, if there's one takeaway from people hearing me talk about what we do, it would be that the infusion of the two professions.
What do you think that is going to take to kind of break down those barriers?
I think it's going to take a lot of patience from builders, number one. I think that clients that I think more than patience, I think it's going to be understanding. I think that clients that understand that there's this relationship, and by the way, there's 5 full-time interior designers here. We couldn't take on any more. Like, it would be too much to manage, but we'll work with 5 or 6 other interior design firms so that we do architecture for them. So I'm not necessarily saying it should all be under one house, but I think more so having architects that can lean into interior design, that's going to be beneficial for future people, clients, anyone that's about to undergo a major residential project. They need to get that.
Do you think that there's a personality mix match that going on that needs to be mediated?
If you have like 3 hours, we could go into this. Yeah, I mean, I think that 100% goes without saying. This is such a personal thing, building a house for somebody. I mean, people change. People talk to family members and come into a meeting like, yeah, I've done houses for 20 years, but your mother-in-law did a renovation 50 years ago. She's going to have something to say, and we're going to hear it, and we'll integrate that into the conversation. But the making sure that you like the person that you're hiring as a client, be it the architect, be it the interior designer, be it the builder, that's paramount, because you're going to have trouble. There's going to be issues. There's going to be some power struggles along the way. I think that having people that at the end of the day can all laugh at each other and keep in mind that there's a client behind this project, that those are going to be the successful designers.
Well, that's a great note to end on. I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. This has been great.
I appreciate this. This was fun.
Too.